private message. Otherwise, any questions or concerns, you can type there as well. But we'll get started in just a moment. It's almost 1 o'clock. And it is 1 now. So we'll get started now. Thank you. Hi, Mila. Thanks for joining me today. As usual, my name is Pam, for those of you who don't know me. If you can have some props handy, if you don't have a regular yoga belt, you can use a tie, you can use a Dynaband, or any soft belt. Leather belt might not have enough give. If you don't have blocks, you can use books, you can use a big bottle of cleaning solution of some kind that might help. If you don't have bolsters or zafu, like a meditation cushion, you can have pillows. And I would suggest having a blanket or two, or as many as you can around, just for using as a prop, like under your knees, for example, or just to pad you, just to make you more comfortable, or if you want to cover up as well, because usually when we get to the end, our temperature sometimes drops as we relax. So we'll begin as usual by coming down to the mat. So you can always sit with me as if you wish. I usually recommend lying back just to begin, just so that you can really come to focus on your breath and your body. But if you're if you're a seasoned yogi and you like to sit in meditation instead, please feel free to do so. So if you're lying on your back, your knees can rest together unless it's comfortable for you to have your legs straight. If it's comfortable for you to have your legs straight, you can let your legs be mat width apart, or even a little bit wider. And your arms can be wider than mat width apart, and your palms face up, just to let your shoulders ease a little bit more. So pick your position. If you have a chair or bolsters or even blocks, you can place those underneath your knees or under your thighs, just to give your back a little bit more support as well. I don't personally like to have anything under my head, but if you wish, you can always have a blanket under a pillow under your head if that's preferred. Or as I mentioned, you can sit with me. If you are wearing glasses, you may wish to remove them just to let your eyes rest a little bit more. And when you're ready, come to your chosen position, either lying back or sitting up nice and tall, moving your personal cushions out of the way if you need, perhaps even sitting on a cushion, and then closing your eyes to begin to focus on your breath. Just notice how it's feeling. Again, without judgment, to just check in. Maybe you rushed to your mat today, maybe your breath is a little bit faster. And you're already relaxed, and your breath is already beginning to slow and calm down. Just fall into the natural rhythm of your breath. Checking in with the body. Trying to notice if you're holding any tension anywhere, and if so, try to send the breath there to help it expand and release. Allowing your shoulders to ease into the support of the earth. Back body or lower body resting down. Letting go. Being with each breath in each moment. Let there be nothing else. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Again, there's no judgment here. Just bring it back to your breath. allowing a sense of ease to wash over you. Allowing your body to release into the support of the earth. You need to bring an awareness of the connection between your breath and your body. As you breathe in, feel your belly rise towards the sky or towards the center of the room. As you breathe out, feel your belly fall back towards your back body, towards the earth or towards the wall behind you. Being with each breath in each moment. If your mind wanders, just invite it back to your breath. Now, as we rest here for a few more moments before we begin, take a moment to set an intention for your practice for today. Perhaps it might be to listen to your body as much as you can. So if it's talking and saying, this pose isn't working today, then you back off. Perhaps it's to feel gratitude for the movement that your body does today for you. No matter how far or how little you stretch. Just being grateful for showing up for yourself today. Maybe it's to let your thoughts go for this time. And if you need to mentally put them in a box and walk them outside of the room so that they can wait for you. So that you can really focus on your breath, your body, your connection with those things as you practice. So whatever intention resonates with you most today. Perhaps how you can offer yourself loving kindness throughout your practice, maybe throughout the rest of the day. Just choose something that resonates with you. In your time, begin to slowly bring awareness back into the body. Maybe wiggling the fingers and toes, moving or stretching in any way that feels good for you. Whatever feels right for your body today. If you were seated, come to join me on the mat for a little bit of a warm-up. So eventually finding your way back onto your back. If you haven't already brought gentle movement into the body, wiggling the fingers and toes, maybe starting to circle into the joints, circling your wrists and ankles, maybe one at a time, maybe all four at once. Work in both directions just to get that synovial fluid moving. Eventually, let that go and exhale one knee towards your chest and draw circles on the ceiling with that knee. Nice, slow, gentle circles. Working in one direction and then the other. Try to notice if you've brought tension in the body as you've lifted your knee toward your chest. And try and send the breath there to let it ease back down. Working evenly on both sides. Eventually exhale your feet back down to the mat. Bringing your arms to the ceiling, letting your arms reach towards the ceiling and then rest back in your shoulder sockets, placing your hands on your elbows, just a couple of circles in each direction, just to warm up the shoulders a little bit. Again, getting those fluids moving. Keep pause in the center and then exhale your arms toward your forehead. And if that doesn't work for you, if you can't actually get all the way to your forehead or all the way to the floor or your blanket behind you, you can let go a little bit just to give yourself a little bit more space so that the arms can come back and you might feel a nice gentle stretch in the chest. Just breathing here. In your time, exhale your belly back, slowly come back. And then we'll come to one side at a time on an exhalation. In your time, coming back to center and then over to the other side. And then slowly coming back. Maybe drawing a couple more circles in each direction and then eventually letting that go, shaking that out. And from here, we'll roll to our right side for a breath or two before using our arms to bring us up to a seated position. From your seat, eventually find yourself into all fours in table pose. And we'll do a couple of spinal waves or cat-cows. So again, when I'm in table pose, my hands are under my shoulders, knees under hips, and my movement starts in my hips. My hips look down, my back comes up, my head comes down. My hips come up, my back comes down, my head comes up. And I can add my lateral cat if that works for me today. So as if I was wrapping my body around a pole, or I look at my bum and my bum looks at me. Maybe doing one more series of 4 cats before you come into your first dog of the day. Just work with your breath. So head down, head up, side to side, working with your breath. Anytime you need, you can always rest in child's pose, bringing your forehead to the mat or your hands or fists to support your forehead if needed, just to bring the floor to you. When you're ready, come into your first dog of the day. So it can be a playful dog. So we're going to curl our toes in table pose, our elbows look forward, our shoulder blades roll down our back. The weight comes to my fingertips as well as my wrists, not only my wrists. And I'm going to exhale my belly back to float up into down dog. Or maybe I might cuddle my feet or I shake my head no. Let your dog be fluid and moving until you feel ready to settle into it. Still, there's your breath. Only stay as long as it feels good for you in dog, and then rest in child's pose for a breath or two. Again, bringing the forehead to the mat or giving yourself some props to help you bring your mat to reach your forehead. Eventually come to standing in the most comfortable way for you. And we'll come to Tadasana or mountain pose. So really feeling up the feet, spreading up the toes. Everything's in line, my knees in line with my hips and my shoulders and my ankles. And maybe just gently closing your eyes and reconnecting with your breath. Feeling your belly rise into the room. As you take breath into the body. Feel your belly fall back. Maybe you grow a little taller as you exhale. your time, eventually coming back to standing. We'll actually do a little bit of a moon salutation today. I'm changing it up a bit because I feel like we had the full moon last night, so I'd like to just salute the moon. So we'll come to Namaste and Tadasana. And we'll move with our breath. So if I say, to tip, just or move, listen to your breath and follow your breath to come to the movement. So from here, we'll come to extended Tadasana. So remembering that extended Tadasana is just Tadasana a little bit taller and thinking about bending the top of the back or the upper back as if you were bending over a chair. So from here, we're going to inhale, bending our knees, sweeping our arms up. Inhale to come to extended Tadasana. And if you feel like your shoulders are coming to your ears, you can always be in cactus arms. That's okay too. So coming to extended Tadasana. And then from here, exhale to come back into Namaste. For Namaste, we're going to sweep our arms up, but this time we're going to hold on to just above the the left wrist with the right hand. We're going to press our palm towards the ceiling. If you can't see that, I'm pressing my palm towards the ceiling. Okay. Push your palm towards the ceiling, and you're going to exhale to tip to the right. So everything's the same in the lower body to Tadasana, but I'm just tipping over to the right. Breathing there. Now exhale, come back to center, release. Then I'm going to sweep the arms up again. This time I'm going to take hold of the right wrist, or just above the right wrist with the left arm. So same idea, my palm is facing the ceiling. From here, I'm going to exhale and tip to the left. Breathing here, opening the side of the body. Everything in the lower body is the same. Nice gentle stretch. Slowly from here, we'll release that, let that go and shake that out. From here, we're going to come to goddess pose. So when we come to goddess pose, we're going to step from Tadasana, but take our feet a little bit wide. And our toes are going to point out a little bit. And we're going to squat while we come to cactus arms. So as I exhale my belly back, I'm going to bend my knees and stick out my bum and bring my arms into cactus. So this is goddess pose. Breathing here for a moment. Tailbone looks down, belly hugs in. Here's your breath. Breathing, releasing into the pose. Feel those legs working. Keep those knees bent. Come in and out if you need. If you can, holding and staying and breathing and feeling that pose. Feel the legs working. And then in your time, we're going to come up to star pose. So all I did here was I am at my knees and I reach my arms out to either side. From here, I'm going to turn my left foot in a little bit. Make sure I'm really facing forward with my left leg. My palms can stay facing forward. And I'm going to start to tip forward. So watch that front knee is staying right in line with your leg. And I'm going to tip forward into Trikonasana. So you may wish to have your block handy. And it comes to the right to the outside of the leg here. And you want to stay right in line with your leg. So as you tip and get nice and long, you may or may not need your block. Listen to your body. You want to have a nice long spine. And you want to have everything in line. So as I gaze into my top hand, I could trace a line all the way to my bottom hand. And if the shoulder is sore, maybe you don't even worry about the top hand. You're going to hug the belly in. Make sure the shoulders are rolling down the back. Watch that front knee. The leg is straight, but the knees aren't locked. Breathe in here. From here, we're going to pinwheel the arms and come down into lunge. So we'll come to high lunge. So if you needed, you could have 2 blocks here instead to come to that high lunge in order to reach the mat. Or you could have your hands on the mat. From here, we'll come to a low lunge. So you may be able to let go of the blocks or put them on a lower height. Pay attention to your knees. The back knee neither knee should be in pain. I'm still rolling my shoulder blades down my back in this lunge. I can still see my front toes. Breathing here. From here, we're actually going to pivot a little bit. So you may or may not need your blocks. What we're going to do here is pivot our down knee. And then we're going to stand up nice and tall and come to a bit of a side bend. So if it feels better for you, you can lift the heel. If you wish, you can have the toes pointed. But your down knee and and you may wish to have a blanket under this knee if you need a little bit more support. I have a double mat, so sometimes my knees okay here. If it's not comfortable to have your foot straight out, you can also turn it so that it's facing forward the same direction as your knee and your foot on the other side. Breathing here. And then we'll slowly release that. We're going to come to the palms. Place both knees down. And from here, we're going to come to squat. So we'll actually come up a little bit. And then I'm going to let you do whatever squat feels good for you today. I'm nursing a bit of an injury, so I'm going to see where I come to. You may just want to go back into goddess pose, and that's okay. If you're going to come on to your toes, make sure that perhaps you put something underneath your toes as you come to your squat. So if it works for you, for me, I can keep my heels down if I widen my feet and let them point out a little bit. And that usually feels better for my knees as well, but listen to your body. So from here, we're going to exhale our belly back, stick out our bum, and come into squat. So again, some people need to lift their heels here. If you can, have the feet on the mat or have a prop underneath them. And you're going to sit up as tall as you can in this pose. You can also always come back to goddess pose if that works better for you. Breathing here for a moment. Feeling the nice stretch in the legs, maybe a little bit of work in the thighs. Hugging the lower belly in. Nice and long and tall in your spine. And I'll leave it up to you. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit, you can come to standing in this pose. Or if you need to come to the mat and then come to standing a different way, that's okay too. But if you want to give your legs a little bit of extra work, on an exhalation of your belly back, you can start to float up all the way back up to standing. And when you're ready, let that go and shake that out. Then from here, we're going to come back down to the knees. This time we're going to come to the side bend on the other side. So again, you choose if you want those toes to face forward, they can face forward. Sometimes people find that more comfortable. If you wish, you could be here and just make sure that the knee is straight, or if you prefer, you can lift the toes. Okay, so either way, you're going to stand up nice and tall, so Tadasana with the upper body, and then we're doing a gentle side bend on the other side. From here, you can open up your chest, gaze at your top hand if that works for you. Just keep in mind when you change your gaze, sometimes it can make you a little bit wobbly. Breathing here. Eventually, slowly release. And we're going to come back to our lunge. So pivoting into a low lunge. So bring your blocks with you if you need. This time we'll lunge on the other side. So last time I had my right foot forward. This time I'll have my left. Again, I'm coming into a low lunge. So I'm walking that back knee back. Front knee is coming forward, but I can still see my toes if the blanket is not in the way. So check that you can see your toes. Have your blocks if you need. Make sure you're rolling your shoulder blades down your back, long and tall on your spine. Breathing here, feeling that nice stretch in the hip flexor in the back leg. More time, we'll come to that high lunge. So again, if you need to, having the blocks. If it's comfortable, you can always come to the mat, but it might be nice to just have a little bit of extra height here. Again, rolling your shoulder blades down your back, long and tall on your spine. Even though the back leg is straight, the knee is still bent. If you need, you can always come onto your heel, or sorry, onto your toes. You can always lift the heel. Listen to your body. Maybe check in with your intention for today. Maybe offer yourself some loving kindness, some gratitude for your practice, some connection with your breath. In your time, we'll step our left foot up to join our right. Maybe we'll just fold forward just to release from that. Again, on your hands on your body or your blocks, whether it's for the floor. Let's inhale up to a halfway lift. Exhale to fold down again. Bend your knees, engage your belly, inhale all the way up. Extended Tadasana. From extended Tadasana, we'll take the left hand and hold on to the right wrist. We'll tip to the left. Breathing here. And on an inhalation, we release and switch. So holding on to the, just above the wrist on the left hand with the right hand, and tipping to the right. Breathing here, palm to the ceiling. Slowly come back to center. Let that go and shake that out. Take a sip of water whenever you need. And then from here, if you wish to do a flow, if you're feeling like this practice is a bit too slow for you today, by all means, please take a flow. Otherwise, we're going to do a little bit of a slow salutation for the sun. So we'll come to Namaste with the palms at our heart center. We'll inhale all the way up to extended Tadasana. So this time we're going to give the legs a little bit more work again, and we're going to sit. So I'm going to sit into my chair pose. So my tail is tucked, my tummy is in, I'm long and tall on my spine, I can still see my toes. Breathing here. Eventually exhale, fold all the way forward. Maybe you have your blocks, or your furniture, or the wall, or your chair, whatever prop you need. Inhale up, halfway lift. So maybe you come to your thighs or your shins, whatever that works for you. Maybe you're still in your blocks. Exhale to fold. We'll step back with the right foot. And have your block handy. And we'll actually come into half moon on this side. So we're going to come to a little bit of balancing. So in order to transition from this high lunge into half moon, what we're going to do here is step the foot in the back onto an angle. Step the front foot forward a little bit. We're going to exhale to come up into warrior two. Switch here for you, sorry. So warrior two, arms and legs, are nice and long and tall in my spine. So we have a little bit of work for the legs. And then from here, we're going to step our back foot forward a little bit. We're going to get nice and long, like we did for our Trikonasana, our triangle pose. We're going to find a spot to stare at on the floor or in front of us that doesn't move. Roll your shoulder blade down your backs. If you wanted to, you could always do this on the wall, but I thought we could try in the room. From here, you're going to bend your back leg, lengthen it straight back, and then bring your top arm up. If you're feeling super steady, you can try to change your gaze from the spot on the floor that you're staring at to your top hand. And open your shoulders even more. Open your chest. And gaze at your fingertips in the top hand. Eventually, slowly release, bending the leg, coming back down into warrior two. From warrior two, coming back into that high lunge. And you will probably be on the other side in your high lunge. Stepping the left foot up to join the right. If you wanted a flow there, please feel free to take one. Holding forward into forward bend. Inhaling to a halfway lift. Engage your belly to come up into chair pose. So my tail is tucked, my tummy is in, my bum is sticking out, my knees are bent, and I can see my toes. And then exhale to come all the way up. Extended Tadasana. Namaste. Let that go and shake that out. Do that on the other side. Coming back to Tadasana. With your hands at your heart center. Inhale all the way up to extended Tadasana. And exhale to sit. Stay here for a couple of breaths. See if you can sink a little bit lower. Bending your knees a little bit more, sticking your bum out a little bit more. See if you can hold this pose a little bit longer. Maybe a couple more breaths. See if you can sink down even further. Still there's your breath. Your belly is hugged in. Your tailbone is tucked. Maybe sink a little deeper. And slowly release into forward bend, wherever that is for you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. This time, stepping your left foot back into high lunge. From high lunge, turning that back foot out, bending that front knee, and coming into warrior two. So adjust as you need. My plant is helping me. Breathing here. And then we'll take that into half moon. So having your block handy. Stepping your back foot up a little bit. Getting nice and long. Finding that block. Picking that spot to stare at that doesn't move. Opening the shoulder. Opening the shoulder. Bending your back leg, lengthening it straight back, opening up to the ceiling, palms, fingertips face the ceiling. Here's your breath. Nice and checked in with the breath, nice and gentle breath. If it works for you, if you're feeling steady, gaze at the fingertips in the top hand. Breathing here. Maybe challenging yourself to stay for another breath or two. And then slowly release back down into warrior two. And then from warrior two, coming back into high lunge. From high lunge, if you wish to take a flow, so when I say take a flow, I mean if you want to come into plank, chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog, by all means. Otherwise, stepping your left foot up to join your right, to fold. Inhale up to a halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Bend your knees, engage your belly, coming into chair pose. Maybe sink a little bit deeper. Let those legs work a little bit more. Hug your belly in. Still there's your breath. In your time, inhale all the way up. Extended Tadasana. Namaste. Let that go. Shake that out. Beautiful, everyone. I hope you're feeling nice and warm now. From here, let's come down to the mat. And I'd like to do a couple of cat-cows, just to release the spine. So rolling your shoulder blades down your back, being in table pose, tucking the tail, back up, head down. And then reversing into cow or head up cat. Coming side to side. Stretching out the sides of the body. Maybe working with that one more time. Work with your breath. Come head down, head up, side to side. And then from here, let's come to dolphin pose. So in dolphin pose, your hands are in namaste, but on the mat. Basically, dolphin pose is dog pose on your elbows. So what we're doing here is we're rolling our shoulder blades down our back. Basically, I start in table pose, but basically just with my elbows down and my hands in namaste or my palms pressed together. So my shoulder blades roll down my back, my elbows are looking forward, I curl my toes, exhale my belly back and float up, just like I would for dog, except I'm on my elbows. So my tummy hugs in, and even if my head is on the mat, there's no weight in it, okay? So you might get to the point where the crown of the head is on the mat, and that's okay, but this isn't a head balancing pose, so you're not gonna put any weight on the top of your head, it's just gonna touch the floor, okay? So see how that feels, maybe come in and out a couple of times. And then when it feels like enough, just rest in child's pose for a breath or two. Maybe even lifting the hands, coming into a bit of an extended puppy pose. So lifting the elbows, placing the hands on the mat, and placing the forehead down. And if your forehead doesn't reach the mat, you can put a blanket or a block under your forehead. And then in your time, we're gonna do, if you're ready for it, we're gonna do a couple of dolphin push-ups. So if dolphin push-ups don't resonate with you today, by all means, you can work with maybe just coming in and out of dolphin to see how that feels. So my elbows are down, my palms are in namaste. I'm rolling my shoulder blades down my back, and I'm curling my toes. I'm gonna exhale my belly back. So nice calm breath here. If you're feeling like you're panting because you're really disconnected from your breath, take a moment to just slow the breath down, come back to belly breathing. In your time, roll your shoulder blades down your back, curl the toes, exhale your belly back up, and come into dolphin. A dolphin push-up is basically where you exhale and bring your nose or your chin towards your thumbs, okay? If you wanted to, you could also do that on your knees. It's just not as much work, but listen to your body. So if you can, you're in full dolphin and you're doing a full dolphin push-up, so nose towards your thumbs. I'm nursing something right now, so I'm just going to take it easy, but listen to your body. Really important though to make sure the shoulder blades are rolled down the back. If they're not, you're putting way too much pressure on the shoulders, okay? So slowly coming forward, nose or chin towards the thumbs to do that dolphin push-up. When it's enough, again, we'll do maybe an extended puppy pose this time. So real full extended puppy, the toes are curled, the hands are palms face down, the elbows are up, the head comes down. So whenever you're ready, you've done at least 5 dolphin push-ups. If possible, the full ones. Coming to extended puppy pose. Or at least 3 nice long deep breaths. And then whenever it's enough, you guys are doing fantastic. Thank you for joining me here today. If you need a sip of water, please take one. Whenever it's enough, we'll come to seated. And we'll just come back and forth a couple of times. Sitting up nice and tall. Legs comfortably wide for you. So whatever that looks like for you, you may not be wide at all, like whatever works for you, but basically you want to have your feet as if your legs are as if they were standing up, meaning the feet are flexed a little bit and the knees are soft. So we've done Paschimottanasana before and seated forward bend, Dandasana. So this time we're just doing a wide-legged version. So you could start in Dandasana and then come wide. Basically, you want to make sure you're on your personal cushions, or sorry, you move your personal cushions away and you're on your sitting bones. You want to sit up nice and tall. And we'll come to seated forward bend, but a wide-legged version. So again, the legs are as if they're standing up, the knees are soft. Exhale my belly back, float forward, tipping from my hips and leading with my sternum. So again, rather than reaching way out here, which will probably round my back, I want to have a nice open chest. So maybe I even place my fingertips behind me just to keep that chest open, even as I tip. And you may not come very far, just listen to your body. Because again, it's not about reaching your toes, it's not about reaching somewhere in front of you, it's just about feeling a nice gentle stretch, juicy stretch. When it's enough, slowly release and come up. We'll do a couple of side bends. So again, everything the same in the lower body, except this time we'll reach the right arm up. The left hand can come towards the foot. We can gaze at that inner elbow, opening the chest to the ceiling, feeling a nice gentle stretch here. Still, there's your breath. Maybe closing your Rise if you're comfortable. More time, slowly coming back up. Reaching with the other arm up. And again, gazing with that inner elbow. Breathing here, feeling that nice gentle stretch. The legs are standing up. The breath comes in and out of the belly, through the nose. Eventually exhale and come all the way back up. From here, we'll come back down onto the mat. Maybe take what you need for Shavasana. So if you want to have a bolster, pillows, a chair, or blocks to put under your knees, maybe bring them with you so that you have them handy. And then from here, we'll exhale both knees to the chest. And just have a gentle rock from side to side. Head, neck, shoulders, everything comes with you. Both knees into the chest. Just have a nice gentle rock from side to side. From here, let one knee come towards the chest and the other leg can lengthen along the mat. Breathing here, maybe moving with your breath, releasing any tension in the hamstrings and the hip flexors. As you breathe in, the belly gets bigger. As you breathe in, it gets smaller, and maybe the leg can come and hug a little bit closer to you. Eventually exhale both knees into the chest and switch. Inhaling to expand, exhaling to release. Feeling that nice gentle stretch. If you were tying both knees into the chest, have another gentle rock. And then bring your feet back down to the mat. Bringing your arms into a T position, you can start by just gently windshield wipering your knees a little bit. And then when it feels right for you, if it's okay for your low back, eventually let your knees fall to one side. And if it's okay for your head and your neck and your back, you can gently look to the opposite side. So just coming into a gentle twist. Breathing here. Feeling the body release a little bit more with each breath out. Eventually coming back, your head comes first, then your knees, maybe a couple more windshield wipers before you move all the way to the other side. And if it's okay for your back and your neck, gazing in the opposite direction of your knees. But if that doesn't work for you, no big deal. Just listen to your body. Maybe taking this opportunity to come back to that intention that you set for yourself. Maybe offering yourself some gratitude, loving kindness for showing up on your mat today. Eventually exhale, slowly come back to center. And then in your time, move or stretch in any other way that you need to before you lie back for Shavasana. So perhaps, if you brought your chair with you or your bolster or your blocks, you can also always, if you're using books instead, you can also just place a book or two underneath each leg. Just try to make it level. This just helps give a little bit more support for your back and allows you to rest the legs out. rather than having the knees bent, but listen to your body. If you have a bolster, that always feels really nice as well, or even a chair. In your time, just coming to Shavasana wherever it's comfortable for you. You can also feel free to sit in meditation with me instead. So if you're sitting, perhaps sitting on a cushion or a blanket, coming up really gently, if that's what you're doing. Otherwise, getting really comfy in your Shavasana. Be fussy to get comfy. Maybe moving your personal cushions away if you're seated. Maybe even leaning on the wall if you're seated, just to give yourself a little bit more support. However you're seated or lying back, if you're wearing glasses, maybe removing them and placing them to the side. Coming back into your breath. Closing your eyes or allowing your gaze to be soft. Working with a circle of light meditation today. If your mind wanders during the meditation, just come back to your breath. It's no big deal. So as you rest and breathe here, if you're seated, if it's comfortable, allow your palms to be face up. If you're lying back, your palms are face up beside you. And as you rest and breathe, envision a circle of light in the palm of your right hand. If you're seated, you can even let one palm sit inside the other and touch. This circle of light can be any color you wish. Perhaps it's a brilliant, beautiful white light. Maybe it's your favorite color. As you breathe in, the circle of light begins to move. So maybe it's the size of a quarter and it's pulled in the palm of your right hand. And it begins to go over each finger and trace a line along the edge of your body. As you breathe in, the light moves and traces your fingertips and your whole hand, and then it circles your wrist and goes all the way up your arm to your shoulder. It moves every time you breathe. So as you take your next breath, the light travels over your shoulder and up the side of your neck, circling at your throat and coming over down the other side of your head to the other shoulder. Coming all the way down the side of the body to the other arm, circling each fingertip and pulling in the left hand. So does your breath. The light moves as you breathe, and it's a brilliant light. And it comes down the inside of the armpit all the way down one leg, circling each toe, circling the ankle, traveling inside one leg and down the other inside of the other leg. Still there's your breath. And this beautiful light has almost enveloped your whole body, beginning to circle the toes on the other leg and then come and travel all the way up the outside of that other leg, all the way to the armpit, back down the inside of the arm where it began, to pull in the hand again of your right palm. Everywhere the light touches feels warm,
secure, safe, filled with love. In this moment, offer yourself loving kindness as you envision your body being encircled in this warm, brilliant light. Offering yourself relaxation for every piece of the body the light touches. Offering yourself gratitude for taking the time to be focused on this breath, this light, this life, this body. As each breath comes and goes, any spaces that weren't touched by light are enveloped in them fully. Each space the light touches is filled with relaxation and ease. Breathing, resting, letting go. There's nothing to do here. Just rest and breathe. Let there be nothing else. If your mind wanders, bring it back to your breath. And even as the vision of the light begins to fade away, as you move through your day, your week, the sense of protection that is left over from this light that has resonated around you, feeling safe and supported by the earth, and by this loving kindness you've given yourself permission to have, if only for a little while. There's this breath. There's this moment. There's nothing else. Just this. I invite you to stay in Shavasana as long as it feels right for you, or in seated meditation as long as it feels right for you. Eventually, if you'd like to close your practice with us, you need to wiggle your fingers and toes. You need to stretch or move in any way that feels right for you. Maybe inviting a deeper breath. Maybe inviting a yawn or a stretch. Whatever your body's asking for, whatever it needs. In your time, if you're lying back, roll to your right side for a breath or two and use your arms to bring you to a seated position. Bring your hands into Namaste in the center of your heart. The light or soul or divine in me is honoring the light or soul or divine in me. Namaste. hope you enjoyed your practice. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to type in the chat. Otherwise, please note that there is no class next week because of the Canada Day holiday, but we will return the week after. So thank you so much. Take good care. And again, any questions or concerns, type in the chat, or if you're still